Chapter 910, The Third Treasure. Chapter 910, The Third Treasure. Xia Mang? Jian Wushuang couldn't help but fall into deep thought. Ever since he had arrived in Tang of the East, he had heard the name of the eldest son in Xia family more than once. The so-called number one genius in Eternal World, number one in Eternal Realm, the youngest Eternal Realm in the history of Eternal World, and so on. However, Jian Wushuang had been doubtful of the so-called number one genius, number one in Eternal Realm. If we were to fight one-on-one, he would definitely lose. Jian Wushuang said in a low voice. Oh, so confident? Di Jing looked at Jian Wushuang in surprise. He didn't know that Jian Wushuang was said to possess the fighting power of one in the seventh step of Eternal Realm even before breakthrough. Number one in Eternal Realm and Eternal World, he is just a joke in front of me. Jian Wushuang's gaze was cold. Then King of Venomous Worms in his body spoke. Jian Wushuang, you are an inverse cultivator. Once you had reached Eternal Realm, it will just be like a Tao master of an ordinary cultivator. Plus, you have the bloodline of ancient god. On top of that, you have extraordinary encounters and many skills. You would be playing the bully if you were to compare to the so-called number one in Eternal Realm in this world. Bully? Jian Wushuang chuckled quietly. As you have no problem with betrothal presence and power, it will be much easier. You only have to surpass Xia Mang in the son-in-law recruitment assembly. All forces and experts will be watching. Although Emperor Leng is brutal, he shouldn't go against the rules he set, Di Jing smiled. Of course you have to prepare for the best and for the worst. If you were to lose to Xia Mang on the son-in-law recruitment assembly, or if Emperor Leng goes against his own rules, we will have to fight against Emperor Leng and Xia family head-on. Di Jing's expression became cold. Back then, Master lost to Emperor Leng and he had no choice but to leave Tang of the East. However, although Master left, he never gave up. All these years he has been storing up strength. Until now, although the accumulated power wasn't enough to match evenly with Emperor Leng or Xia family, he stands a chance to fight a war. Stand a chance to fight a war? Shuelingtian looked shocked and complimented. We of Void Temple knew long ago that Emperor Shao had been accumulating power. We never expected that the power that Shao accumulated over such a short period of time has reached such a level. TSK. He lives up to his name, Emperor Shao, the second place among the four emperors. Jian Wushuang was stunned at the comment. Emperor Shao was on the second place among the four emperors. Senior Di Jing, I never understood. Why would Emperor Shao and Emperor Leng, who were a couple, suddenly have a falling out? And Emperor Shao is so powerful, why would he lose at the hands of Emperor Leng back then? Jian Wushuang asked. Among the four emperors, Emperor Qing was widely acknowledged as the strongest. Hence, he naturally was in first place. As for Emperor Shao, he was in the second place. He was definitely stronger than Emperor Leng by one notch. Why would he lose? I'm not sure why Master fell out with Emperor Leng back then. Master never told me either. As for why Master lost, it was because Emperor Leng had a helping hand. An impressive helping hand, Di Jing said. Who? Jian Wushuang asked. National Master, Di Jing said. Jian Wushuang understood then. When he had been in Blood Eagle Guard, he had also heard that there was an impressive national master in Tang of the East who had great skills. Just like the Divine Sea and Blood Eagle armor, they were both from the hands of the national master. Oh yeah, Jian Wushuang, as you are joining the son-in-law recruitment assembly, do you have a recommendation? Di Jing asked. Recommendation? Jian Wushuang was confused. Not everyone can join son-in-law recruitment assembly. You, of course, need to have a recommendation and the person who gives it to you has to have enough say to let Tang of the East treat him politely, Di Jing explained. Jian Wushuang looked to his senior, Shuelingtian, subconsciously. Shuelingtian, as one of the 18 masters of Void Temple, held a high position too. Don't look at your senior. His position has power but Void Temple is aloof. They never get involved in any fight among forces in Eternal World. The son-in-law recruitment assembly is possibly the fight between Emperor Leng and Master, so your senior is not in an appropriate position to get involved, Di Jing said. Shuelingtian shrugged helplessly too. If you have no recommender, Master invited one for you, Di Jing said. Who is it? Jian Wushuang asked. Alchemy Master. Wushuang, Di Jing said. The Alchemy Master is widely recognized as the number one elixir master in Eternal World. He is an eminent position in Eternal World. There are many experts who once looked for him to refine elixirs and owe him a favor. Although he is alone, as long as he orders, there will be a bunch of Tao masters swarming in to work for him. He alone represents a fierce force. Besides, this alchemy master is the master of your brother here. Ha! Jian Wushuang's eyes shone and he immediately looked at Wang Yuan. Haha, third brother, don't worry about it. Master replied to me long ago that he agreed to give you a recommendation. After all, you offered him quite a number of good things. He was rather delighted. Wang Yuan smiled. I see. Your master is the #1 elixir master in Eternal World. No wonder your elixir refining skills could improve so greatly, Jian Wushuang complimented as he said, thank alchemy master on my behalf. No problem, Wang Yuan waved. Alright, I have told you everything I need to. 3 years later, the son-in-law recruitment assembly will take place. You have 3 years' time to prepare. 3 years later, don't let master and his eldest daughter down, Di Jing exhorted. Jian Wushuang nodded solemnly. Very soon, Di Jing and Leng Ruxue had left, but Xueling Tian wasn't in a hurry to leave. He took Jian Wushuang to a secluded void. Junior, the son-in-law recruitment assembly 3 years later, I will come personally. However, due to my position, I can't be your recommendation. However, if there were to be any accident at the assembly, I will still appear as an individual to lend you a helping hand, Xueling Tian said in a serious tone. Thank you, senior, Jian Wushuang expressed his gratitude. I came here today to ask about the son-in-law recruitment assembly, but there's one more thing. Xueling Tian waved and took out a scroll painting that seemed to be turning yellow. This is. Jian Wushuang looked at the scroll painting in shock. I returned to Firmament territory and I saw the master. This scroll painting, master entrusted me to bring it to you. Xueling Tian said, master said that he would give us 3 treasures that we could use when we leave Firmament territory to wander. He gave it to you. However, he gave you 2 previously and this is the 3rd one. Chapter 9:11 Mountain River Map. Chapter 9:11 Mountain River Map. The 3rd treasure? Jian Wushuang was excited. When he left the Firmament territory, his master had promised to send him 3 treasures. The first treasure was the Blood Mountain Sword, which could be used both to kill and to suppress. Its mighty power even exceeded Emperor weapons. It had improved Jian Wushuang's overall strength considerably. He was good at using it. The second treasure was the token containing the 3 sword essences which could save his life. Each sword essence was more powerful than the last one. Jian Wushuang had only used 2 of them, and the 2 sword essences had achieved the expected effect. Xian Yi had once told him that he was preparing the 3rd treasure and would find the proper time to give him it. Now Xian Yi had asked Xueling Tian to give him this. Thank you, first senior brother. Jian Wushuang put the scroll into his interspatial ring. By the way, I have told our master about the wedding gifts. Just rely on him. He will give you an unparalleled gift in 3 years. Xueling Tian smiled. Jian Wushuang blinked excitedly. He knew his master never broke his word. The wedding gift was sure to be incomparable. Junior brother, I have to deal with some affairs at the Void Temple. Make good preparations for the selection ceremony. See you. Xueling Tian left. After seeing him off, Jian Wushuang returned to the secret chamber. The ancient yellow scroll was suspending in the air in front of him. It seemed to be ordinary. If it was sold on the street, no one would take a second glance at it. My master is so skillful that he has given me 2 useful treasures. The 3rd treasure must be even more beneficial to me, he spent such a long time preparing it. But what about its power? Jian Wushuang stared at the scroll expectantly. It's only a treasure. Why are you so excited? The Gu King asked carelessly. You know nothing about it? Every treasure my master has given me is of great use. So is this. And this one must be extraordinary, Jian Wushuang replied. Oh, extraordinary? Jian Wushuang, do you know what level your master has reached? Is he a Dao master? The Gu King asked him. Jian Wushuang thought for a while and shook his head. My master is not a Dao master. He has only entered the Eternal Realm. Eternal Realm? The Gu King laughed out loud. How can you expect an Eternal Realm expert to give you an extraordinary treasure? Jian Wushuang, is your horizon so narrow? Please leave me alone. His eyes fixed upon the scroll. Let it recognize its lord first. Jian Wushuang dropped his blood on the scroll, waiting for it to recognize him as its lord. Everything went smoothly. Once the scroll recognized Jian Wushuang as its lord, he saw a glint of gold on its surface. Suddenly, the whole scroll took on an entirely new look, as if it had woken up. That's interesting. The Gu King was astonished too. but still didn't pay much attention. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief, then opened the scroll. He saw a vivid image. There were mountains, rivers, sky, and earth. Everything was vivid and lifelike. The most appealing part was the 9 continents, each of which was extremely realistic. Jian Wushuang took a casual look at one of them, only to see a boundless world. A series of information was sent to Jian Wushuang from the scroll. It's the mountain river map. The endless mountains and rivers divide the 9 provinces. The mountains and rivers are as palms, and the 9 provinces as the seal, creating the country. Jian Wushuang was shocked at these simple messages. A secret skill appeared in his mind. The secret skill was called the 9-province seal. The 9-province seal was a powerful secret skill based on the 9 provinces in the mountain river map. It had 9 moves in total. The first move, Qing province as the seal, was called Split the Heavens. The second move, Yu province as the seal, was called Hack the Earth. The third move, Yang province as the seal, was called Overwhelm the Rain. The fourth move, Yin province as the seal, was called Turn Up the Cloud. The fifth move. Jian Wushuang was in a total shock. It also hit the Gu King. How can it be? Incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Even I cannot crack the secret skills in the treasure? Are you kidding me? Jian Wushuang, are you sure your master gave you this scroll? The Gu King asked. Yes, Jian Wushuang nodded. Is he really just an eternal realm expert? The Gu King asked again. He is. Jian Wushuang nodded uncertainly. The Gu King did not say anything. After a long period of silence, he spoke again. If I'm right, it was your master who passed the secret skill which can improve your consciousness. Yes, Jian Wushuang nodded. If the universal Tao scripture did make his consciousness stronger, it had to have been refined by his master. Aha, it seems that your master is more than an eternal realm expert. Even I cannot crack the secret skills in this treasure. If he refined this scroll, I'm certain no one can reach his level of refining weapons. The Gu King became solemn. Jian Wushuang was silent. He did not reply, but instead continued to study the mountain river map. The mountain river map works in cooperation with the 9-province seal. The 9-province seal looks extraordinary. I wonder if I'll be able to understand the first move of the 9-province seal, as well as the second sword formation of the 9th heaven sword formation in the next 3 years, Jian Wushuang said hopefully. The 9th heaven sword formation was his unexpected tricky move. He had managed to display the second sword formation when he was meditating on Star Island. It took too much spiritual power for a divine realm expert to display the second sword formation, but it became easier once he entered Eternal Realm. Chapter 9:12, Before the Storm. Chapter 9:12, Before the Storm. In the secret chamber, the 2 original bodies of Jian Wushuang appeared at the same time. After, his world body remained in the secret chamber, meditating the 9-province seal on the mountain river map, while the slaughter body left the royal palace for a remote forest. Jian Wushuang stood on the void of the forest, staring at the sword magic weapons with mauve gleaming in them. Organic magic weapon. 1-meter sword, 72 in total. Jian Wushuang displayed the 9th heaven sword formation with blood sky sword. He shape-shifted it into 1-meter sword, the more powerful one. Taking a deep breath, Jian Wushuang endless spiritual power seeped from his pores. 9th heaven sword formation, combine. Crush. The 72 1-meter swords merged rapidly and combined into a mauve sword. Although this sword was not large and a mere 3 meters long, its razor-sharp edge shined blindingly bright. Kill? Fueled by the killing intent in Jian Wushuang's eyes, the sword rushed forward quickly. The mauve glint flashed across the void. Boom. An enormous hole penetrated the center of a mountain 3,000 meters away from Jian Wushuang. The spiral hole drilled with outrageous force. The power is not sufficient enough, besides it consumes too much spiritual power. I need to improve upon it. Jian Wushuang brandished the sword formation again. In the forest, the slaughter body of Jian Wushuang absorbed and practiced the second sword formation. Jian Wushuang meditated the second sword formation, but it took too long to display skillfully. The 2 original bodies of Jian Wushuang endeavored to improve their strength, making preparations for the selection ceremony. Time flied. 3 years passed. 2 days remained until the selection ceremony. Deep in the royal place in a garden covered by the restriction. White-robed Lung Rushuang looked up at the sky and whispered, Is the day coming? Sooner or later. Lung Wushuang outstretched her hands. A cold breeze blew past. It's so windy. Many profound clans resided in Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land. Among them, the Xia clan reigned the strongest along with their first overlord clan. Except Xia clan, only a few top clans still existed. One of them, the Baiming clan, ranked on par with the Xia clan. A gray-robed middle-aged man sat in the splendid palace of the Baiming clan. He narrowed his eyes and rocked his chair, the man's handsome face and delicate, short dark hair wooing the servants around him. In front of him stood a number of black-robed men. They looked ordinary without any breath of cultivation power, but that was exactly why they looked dreadful. All the black-robed men, radiating a particularly powerful presence, were obviously supreme experts at the level of Tao Master. Everything is finished, my lord? A skinny elder from the group said. If Jian Wushuang were present, he would recognize that the elder was Di Jing. The only person who commanded Di Jing in Eternal World was Emperor Shao. The gray-robed middle-aged man. What about you? Emperor Shao asked, glancing at the purple-robed man beside him. The man Baiming Hao was the leader of Baiming clan. Although a rebellious person, he behaved in front of Emperor Shao. We are at your command, your majesty, Baiming Hao said humbly. Good, Emperor Shao said, nodding slightly with sparkling dark eyes like the night sky. My power and the experts I invited as well as Baiming clan, is more than sufficient to wage war with Emperor Lung. Most importantly, that man agreed to join us. That man? The black-robed men including Di Jing and Bei Mingho, faces reddened in frustration when Emperor Shao mentioned that man. They just dared to fight with Emperor Lung before that man agreed to join. Now they had a 30% chance of winning. A 30% chance is enough for us, Emperor Shao said, crossing his hands. But if Jian Wushuang wins and that bitch keeps her words, we may need not intervene. Just wait for the selection ceremony. Firmament territory was only a little territory in the eternal world. Among all the sects and powers in firmament territory, the three magnates controlled the lead. Ancient sect was merely one of the top sections. In the palace of ancient sect atop a mountain, white-robed palace master Xian Yi gazed up at the sky with hands behind his back. He stood straighter than a pine. That is, before a figure suddenly appeared behind him. Your Majesty, Palace Master Xian Yi. He was Palace Master Destruction, one of the 12 Palace Masters of the ancient sect. According to your command, I've allowed our disciples to gather at Heavenly Peak Valley. Tomorrow we can begin the hunting competition. Palace Master Destruction said. Oh. Xian Yi furrowed his brow and smiled. The Heavenly Peak Valley must be noisy with so many people. Go and maintain order. Okay. Palace Master Destruction said, nodding in bewilderment. To improve the strength of the disciples, the ancient sect hosted an unprecedented hunting competition. It was normal to hold a competition, but strangely, all the disciples participated. The outer disciples and inner disciples as well as experts from the ancient sect, have all gone to help maintain order. Only Xian Yi remained. Was it necessary for all the disciples to participate in such a hunting competition? Despite his doubts, Palace Master Destruction asked nothing. After Palace Master Destruction left, Xian Yi stood alone at the peak again. He reached out and covered the heaven. The storm gathers. Wushuang, I have already sent you the wedding gift, but you should win at the selection ceremony by yourself. Come now, don't disappoint me. Xuan Yi muttered to himself in a soft voice and smiled. Chapter 9:13 Taken Aback. Chapter 9:13 Taken Aback. When the selection ceremony arrived, Jian Wushuang finished his meditation. During the 3 years of meditation, his two original bodies possessed a good command of 9 Province Seal and the second move of 9th Heaven Sword Formation. Having entered the initial realm of the second move of 9th Heaven Sword Formation, Jian Wushuang easily wielded it with outrageous proficiency. As for the 9 Province Seal and Mountain River map, it released great power in collaboration with the map. This secret skill was much more domineering than what Jian Wushuang had seen previously. Jian Wushuang only managed to crack the first move, while he still unable to wield it. He received no chance of driving Mountain River map since it drained too much spiritual power. It was early in the morning. Jian Wushuang sat on a chair in the meeting hall with 3 other figures. 2 of them were his 2 close friends Wang Yuan and Yang Zixuan. Yang Zixuan stayed at Circus Island before, but rushed to the royal palace to assist Jian Wushuang. At the first sight of Yang Zishuan, king of venomous worms, could not help but exclaim, "Amazing aura of emperor! What a high-grade bloodline!" With the help of Emperor Shao, Yang Zishuan once received a bloodline inheritance. No wonder he possessed a high-grade bloodline. He made great progress these last few years and ranked the top of the Eternal Realm. If he completely erupted the bloodline at any cost, he may have the strength to combat a Tao master. A gray-robed elder also sat among them quietly. This weathered elder closed his eyes slightly, blinked twice and repeated. He looked like a piece of wood. He was alchemy master Wushuang, the master of Wang Yuan, and the acknowledged first alchemist in the ancient world. This alchemy master served as the introducer of Jian Wushuang at the selection ceremony. The four figures waited for dawn without words. Although they didn't wait long. From the horizon, the sun rose, and the first rosy sunlight shined upon the ancient royal palace. The entire royal palace awakened. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. One by one, the bells tolled in a deep and resonant voice. The sound reverberated through the royal palace. In the meeting hall, the four figures opened their eyes and looked at the window. Finally, has it arrived? Jiao Wushuang stood up slowly. A smile softened his cold face as he saw the rosy sunlight. Let's go. Dan Zun also stood up. Afterwards, they set off for the ceremony venue. At the same time, in other places of the royal palace, experts from various forces of the eternal world also set off. A great many of experts rushed to the drill ground at the center of the royal palace like buzzing wasps. When Jian Wushuang and other three figures arrived, lots of people eagerly awaited there. So many people. Jian Wushuang said, scanning the crowd on the drill ground. There were numerous figures entering from the void nearby. There are millions of people. Wang Yuan was stunned by the scene. Crowds of people gathered around the drill ground. Everyone who attended the selection ceremony was capable, and many of them were preeminent. Fortunately, the royal guard of Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land sent all the members. They maintained order with Blood Eagle Guard. Some experts at the level of Tao Master also kept in bird's eye view of the venue. As a result, the drill ground was safe for all. Blood Mountain, I gave you a referral 2 days ago. As you requested, I used the name Jian Wushuang, Alchemy Master said. Thank you, Alchemy Master. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. Because he wanted to marry Lung Wushuang fair and square, he had to use his real name. Although it would cause a lot of trouble, he would face them sooner or later. Since Xia clan was so powerful, they must have received the list of the competitors. They surely were astonished to see my name on the list. Jian Wushuang said, laughing in his mind. He killed Xia Yan in person, the second master of Xia clan. People in Xia clan searched for him these years but found nothing. This time, if they knew he dared to participate in this selection ceremony and to compete with Xia Mang, they would definitely do far worse than slander his name. A figure suddenly appeared beside Jian Wushuang. Hi, first senior brother. Jian Wushuang greeted him with a wave. His first senior brother, Xueling Tian. Have a gander at your wedding gift, my junior brother? Xueling Tian said, offering him an interspatial ring. Is this? Jian Wushuang smiled and took the ring. He saw the mysterious smile on Xueling Tian's face, which aroused his curiosity. What will the wedding gift would be? Jian Wushuang said, peeking inside interspatial ring with curiosity and anticipation. When he saw clear what the wedding gift truly was, he and King of Venomous Worms stomped their feet vehemently. How is this possible? Jian Wushuang said in a demanding voice, staring at the ring in shock. Monster! Your master is a true monster, Jian Wushuang. King of Venomous Worms roared. How did he obtain these? He refined them on his own? Impossible. That's impossible. Monster! Your master is a monster. A series of roars from King of Venomous Worms rang out in Jian Wushuang's mind. Jiao Wushuang felt the same as King of Venomous Worms. Horrible. He even shivered with fear. He was totally taken aback by the wedding gift his master gave him. And believed whoever saw it would be taken aback as well. After all, this wedding gift was too. It was far too shocking and stunning. Chapter 9:14 Xia Mang. Chapter 9:14, Xia Mang. So what do you think, junior brother? Xueling Tian asked, looking at Jian Wushuang with great interest. He saw this wedding gift himself earlier and was quite astonished at the time. Jian Wushuang inhaled deeply and tried to hold back his great shock. He then nodded. With a gift like this, I shall never fear what the Xia clan holds in their hands, even if they take out everything they could find. Aha, laughed Xueling Tian. Don't worry. Xia clan won't be so stupid to bring out all they have even if they are going to unite by marriage. The wedding gift is all set and for that aspect you are on your own now. I know. Jian Wushuang nodded again. Blood Mountain, my friend. It is time you see yourself out. Alchemy Master looked over here. My third brother, Master, asked me to inform you that everything is ready now. Just go for it. Yang Zishuan said. You can count on it. Have I, Jian Wushuang, ever disappointed anyone before? Not to mention that this time is about the matter of my life. With a grin, he clenched his hands. Before you even realized, he already moved towards the center of the drill ground below. We shall leave too, Master Bloodsaber, Alchemy Master said, looking at Xueling Tian with a huge smile. Right. Xueling Tian nodded slightly, but his gaze remained on Jian Wushuang. He then fetched out a token with his hand. We should pray that the selection ceremony goes well, otherwise. Xueling Tian gazed upon the token in his hand with a grim face. The huge drill ground extends for hundreds of miles, enough to accommodate hundreds of millions of people. At the edge of the drill ground gathered millions of people who are here to watch the selection ceremony. But there are only a few figures on the center vacant ground of the drill ground. These 10 people are talented genius recommended by expert to take part in this selection ceremony. And among those people, most have already made their names known in Eternal World. You see that young man in white clothes? Is he not Dongyan Chong from Dongyan clan? Dongyan Chong has only cultivated himself for less than 10,000 of years, yet he is now at the top of Eternal Realm. He is indeed quite talented, maybe just a little behind Xia Mang. Besides, Dongyan clan possesses great background which is thought to be only next to Xia clan in Tang of the East. It seems like this Dongyan Chong has a great chance of becoming the emperor's son-in-law. I have seen that long-haired man with a cold expression. He is the personal disciple of Deep Sea Palace Master. His name is Li Tianqiu, a great genius, and he is already well known in Eternal World many years ago. Deep Sea Palace Master, you say? He is a mighty Tao master that even Emperor Lung regards highly. He is now an overlord in Eternal World for the Deep Sea Palace he established. That is Ku-yi, the personal disciple of Elder Deadwood. I heard he is an orphan adopted by Elder Deadwood. All these young geniuses have been recognized by the audience for they all have strong backing, great talent and strength. But of course among these young men, there is someone unknown, unheard. Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang wore a blood-red robe fashioned from Shuang armor. On his back he carried a blood mountain sword. The young man just stood there with his arms folded and his eyes closed. Jian Wushuang was indifferent, though the eyes of the audience glanced at him from time to time. Who is the one carrying the sword? I have no idea, but he is recommended by Alchemy Master. Alchemy Master? He is the top alchemist of the Eternal World. Very impressive, but still we know little about his strength. Occasionally people discuss Jian Wushuang a little. Just then, dozens of figures rushed the drill ground from the void outside. The aura spreading out of these figures was so strong that it attracted all the eyes of the people present. Xia clan. People from Xia clan. Xia clan has come. The first overlord clan in Tang of the East. There came a commotion all over the drill ground. Those figures hesitated not one bit, they made a straight path to the grandstand floating in front of the drill ground. Yet only one figure flew towards the drill ground down below. Soon this figure reached the center of the drill ground. This man wore a luxurious silk robe and let his long hair flow freely in the air. He possessed a gorgeous visage as if he was from a fairy land. With a crinkled smile on the corners of his mouth, he emitted a unique charm that no one could describe. With his appearance, a peculiar sense spread out. All the eyes of those attending were gravitated towards him, immediately making him the center of this whole world. Xia Mang. He is the acknowledged first genius of Eternal World, first Eternal Realm. He is also the youngest to ever enter Eternal Realm and the true chosen one. Everyone's eyes focused on him. Xia Mang is considered the legend of the youth in Eternal World. Even someone like Dongyan Chong, Li Tianqiu, Kui also focused their eyes on Xia Mang. Indeed they were true top genius, but the huge gap between them and Xia Mang was clear. Xia Mang? Jian Wushuang said, finally opening his eyes as he looked toward him. And coincidentally, the eyes of Xia Mang also looked around and happened to meet Jian Wushuang's eyes. And then they became the center of the whole world. Xia Mang, who captured the eyes of all, paced slowly towards Jian Wushuang and then stopped when there was less than 10 meters away. After that, Xia Mang raised his head and looked directly at Jian Wushuang, his eyes covered by a freezing aura. Jian Wushuang trained his eyes on Xia Mang calmly. Their eyes met and caused a huge collision in the void. It seemed the whole universe became silent all at once. For both Jian Wushuang and Xia Mang, they could not see anyone at this moment. All they saw in their eyes was each other. This feeling was like a needle pointing to an awning. This unique scene was witnessed by the entire audience. The atmosphere in the drill ground stirred. What's happening? Who is that guy and why is Xia Mang so concerned about him? There are dozens of geniuses taking part in this ceremony. Among them are some talented ones like Dong Yanchong, Li Tianqiu and Ku Yi. Yet Xia Mang ignores all of them and goes straight to unknown folk? Who is he? All at once, many people wondered who Jian Wushuang really was. And then, in the middle of the drill ground stood two men against each other. Xia Mang suddenly opened his mouth and said, "I have a younger brother, my sibling." Xia Mang spoke in a low voice, but somehow his words managed to spread out among the drill ground for everyone to hear clearly. "He was killed by me." Jian Wushuang spoke with no emotion. He didn't evade the question one bit. Chapter 9:15 Tit for Tat. Chapter 9:15 Tit for Tat. He's dead. I killed him. These simple words sounded cold but turned the drill ground on instantly. He's the guy who killed Xia Mang's brother. Yes, I remember. More than 200 years ago, Xia Yin fought with a Divine Realm expert in Circus Island. The Divine Realm expert defeated him with only 3 sword strikes. Xia Yin died afterwards. It is said that he was killed by the Divine Realm expert when he went for revenge. The Divine Realm expert is called Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang. It's him. That's him. No wonder Xia Mang went to him directly. He's Jian Wushuang who killed Xia Yin more than 200 years ago. Numerous exclamations filled the drill ground one after another. Everyone gawked at Jian Wushuang in astonishment. At the time when second master of Xia clan died, the entire Xia clan was enraged, raising chaos in the kingdom Tang of the eastern land. During those years, Xia clan kept looking for the Divine Realm expert but couldn't find him. Who knew the Divine Realm expert had not only made a breakthrough to Eternal Realm, but also came to the selection ceremony. So above board. Didn't he worry about being killed by the Xia clan? It was you. Xia Mang's expression turned cold. Without any effort to cover, his intention to kill was obvious. What of it? Jian Wushuang said, glancing at Xia Mang. Good. I like your arrogance, Xia Mang sneered. Don't worry, it's selection ceremony with Emperor Leng present. Our Xia clan won't kill you here. But once the selection ceremony ends, you must die. No one can save you, no matter it's alchemy master who recommended you this time, or your senior brother Master Bloodsaber. You have no say about whether they can save me or whether I will die, Jian Wushuang answered coldly. When I say you must die, you will, Xia Mang said. It seemed like he announced Jian Wushuang's fate. Do I? I will wait. Jian Wushuang showed no change in his facial expression. It seemed he cared little about what Xia Mang said at all. People around the drill ground heard their confronting conversations. Some of them became secretly expectant. In the void in front of the drill ground, a giant stand floated with some console tables on it. Many stalwart people with strong auras sat in front of the tables. There were dozens of them. They were either the masters of some big clans and powers, or the solitary experts with formidable prowess. Jian Wushuang's senior brother, Xueling Tian, alchemy master, was there too. Those experts saw clearly what occurred down there. Haha, it's quite confronting. But it makes sense. It's Xia Mang's biological brother that Jian Wushuang killed. I quite admire this little guy. He knows that the Xia clan hunts him by any means. Without hiding away, instead he comes to this selection ceremony above board. Does he believe his senior brother or alchemy master can save him? Although alchemy master is very powerful as far as I know, he has nothing to do with Jian Wushuang. He won't risk his relationship with the Xia clan just for Jian Wushuang. As regards Master Bloodsaber, he is one of the 18 masters of the Void Temple, which should not be underestimated. But the dispute between Jian Wushuang and the Xia clan has nothing to do with the Void Temple. It's impossible for the Void Temple to step in. Master Bloodsaber alone is still not enough when pitted against the Xia clan. The experts in front of the console tables chatted freely. They hid nothing while talking. Everything they said was heard by people from the Xia clan and Master Bloodsaber. Two Dao Master experts of the Xia clan sat in front of the central tables. Among them was Elder He. Jian Wushuang met him in Circus Island. The other one had messy black hair and dark skin, making him look like a wild man. The great elder of the Xia clan, Xiaoyu. Hearing the conversations among the experts, Xiaoyu snorted, "A junior with no respect. He who killed our Xia clan people must die." Hearing that, Xueling Tian, sitting right in front of Xiaoyu, looked over and said slowly, "Are you honestly this angry, Elder Xiaoyu? Master Bloodsaber Jian Wushuang killed the second master of our Xia clan. We didn't destroy the ancient sect he belongs to. That's respecting you. Don't being unappreciated," Xiaoyu snorted. "What can you do if I am unappreciated? Do you even desire to kill me?" Xueling Tian sneered, "Xiaoyu, I am not looking down upon you. I am sitting before you and I won't fight back. If you dare, just go ahead." Xueling Tian sipped the wine glass before him. Hearing this, Xiaoyu furrowed his brow. To kill Xueling Tian. He dared not. Not only won't he, even the master of the Xia clan, or the ancestor behind the Xia clan wouldn't dare kill Xueling Tian so openly. After all, no power in the entire eternal world sustained the anger of the Void Temple. I don't dare kill you, but I do dare kill Jian Wushuang. I don't believe there is anyone who can save him today," Xiaoyu snorted. "Let's wait and see," Xueling Tian said, not wishing to talk too much with Xiaoyu. "Bloodsaber, it seems that your junior brother has gotten into much trouble today." Beside Master Bloodsaber there was an elder with white hair. The elder watched everything with a smile, making others feel warm. Same as Xueling Tian, the white-haired elder was also one of the 18 masters of the Void Temple. "Just little trouble," Xueling Tian smiled. There was an emaciated elder with young face and white hair sitting in front of the another table. A green-haired maid sat beside him. They were the Lord of Circus Island and his daughter Lin Wan. "Dad, Jian Wushuang provoked Xia Yan because of me. If the Xia clan wish to kill him, you need to help him," Lin Wan said, her voice breaking. "The Xia clan is the #1 overlord clan in the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land. I cannot become their enemies," Lord of Circus Island said, shaking his head. "Dad?" Lin Wan said in a worried tone. Okay. Don't fret. We can just sit and watch. It's not as simple as you imagine," Lord of Circus Island said and impatiently waved his hand. Lin Wan couldn't say more. Right then, with a group of attendants surrounding her, a beautifully harsh figure walked slowly from the distant palace. Everyone in the drill ground couldn't help stopping what they did and stare at the harsh figure. Chapter 9:16, It has begun. Chapter 9:16, It has begun. Dressed in white and surrounded by the others, she walked forward slowly. Abruptly, silence descended as everyone looked at her in captivation. Her skin was lighter than snow and her eyes were like a clear spring. She stunned everyone present with her elegance and grace. Her beauty and breathtaking elegance were evident. No words could adequately describe her beauty. Above all, her aloofness was her most attractive trait. It was something that no one else in the entire world could come close to matching. This was Lung Wushuang, the widely acknowledged #1 beauty in the eternal world, the princess of the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land, and the heroine of this selection ceremony. All the male cultivators were enchanted when they laid eyes on her. Apart from Jian Wushuang, all the other geniuses cast her appreciative looks from their location in the center of the drill ground. Even Xia Mang's eyes were eager and his hands were clenched. "Only a lady of such attributes would deserve to be my wife," he thought. As Lung Wushuang sat down at the void's viewing point, everyone relaxed visibly. Soon Emperor Lung arrived. He sat on the towering throne in the middle of the viewing point and waved his hand. "Let's get started." Following his announcement, the sound of an ancient bell reverberated through the drill ground. It seemed to convey a special authority. Everyone became serious and respectful. Emperor Lung looked down with a cold expression on his face. His grave voice echoed through the drill ground. "I hold the selection ceremony today to find a suitable husband for Shuanger. I won't marry her to a nobody. In order to marry her, show your sincerity and good faith. Secondly, show your talent and capability." The outcome of this ceremony depends on two criteria. First, the wedding gifts you have brought. Second, your strength. I will select the most outstanding man to be Shuang'er's husband based on these two criteria. His announcement was met with equanimity. Everyone present was aware of the two criteria. There are 17 participants for the selection ceremony. Now please come up one at a time to show me your wedding gifts. Emperor Leng was blunt. The 17 geniuses in the drill ground, including Jian Wushuang, were visibly excited. All of them were well prepared for the selection ceremony. They had chosen their wedding gifts very carefully too. Dongyan Chong from the Dongyan clan went up first. He bowed to Emperor Leng and other experts on the stand. Emperor Leng, I am Dongyan Chong from the Dongyan clan. I've brought 5 wedding gifts. I would like to marry the princess. Dongyan Chong wore a humble expression on his face as he produced an interspatial ring. The interspatial ring did not belong to anyone, so everyone could clearly see what was inside with their consciousness. Dongyan Chong continued, the 5 wedding gifts I have prepared are Ancient Heart Elixir, Jianghu Formation, part of the Shui Luo Realm map, a treasure mountain refined by various priceless treasures and 10 advanced-level Emperor weapons. Without his explanation, the experts on the stand had already recognized these treasures when he produced the interspatial ring. Haha, so generous. Although the Ancient Heart Elixir, Jianghu Formation and the Shui Luo Realm map piece are not that precious, they are rare and have special effects. Did Dongyan clan collect these 3 treasures at the same time? I've looked closely at the treasure mountain. The treasures it refined were priceless. Its worth can be compared to billions of divine gems. In addition, look at the 10 advanced-level Emperor weapons. Such valuable wedding gifts. Many experts on the stand looked amazed. The master of Dongyan clan looked proud. Nobody knew how much the Dongyan clan had paid to obtain such treasures. While the gifts were valuable, it was clear that Emperor Leng remained unmoved. It was obvious that Emperor Leng did not appreciate the 5 wedding gifts. Next. His voice held no emotion. Emperor Leng did not comment on Dongyan Chong's gifts. Dongyan Chong frowned but could do nothing except stand back. Thereafter, the other geniuses approached the stand to show their wedding gifts. All the geniuses had outstanding backgrounds, so their wedding gifts were impressive too. Some of them had amazed the people in the drill ground, and even the top experts on the stand. However, Emperor Leng showed little interest in them. After 15 minutes, 15 of the 17 geniuses had presented their wedding gifts. Among the 15 geniuses, Ku Yi, the personal disciple of Elder Deadwood, had presented a very rare 9-colored cloud fruit. Many experts on the stand had been surprised by the gift and some were even envious. Even Emperor Leng had been surprised. That had been the only gift which had evoked a response from him. The 15 geniuses had stepped back, leaving 2 who stood at the stand quietly. The 2 geniuses left were Xia Mang from the Xia clan and Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang, it's just you and me now. Xia Mang looked at Jian Wushuang. With your background, I'm curious what wedding gifts you will present. Xia Mang was well aware that ancient sect to which Jian Wushuang belonged was just a sect of a normal realm. It was considered a powerful sect of that realm but was insignificant in the context of the eternal world. In addition, as far as he knew, Jian Wushuang's master was just an eternal realm. The only thing he could show off was his senior brother, Master Blood Saber. Among the 17 geniuses, Jian Wushuang's background wasn't the least impressive, but it was far from outstanding. Chapter 9:17 Xia Clan's Wedding Gift. Chapter 9:17 Xia Clan's Wedding Gift. Don't concern yourself with my wedding gift. Worry about yourself. If you don't have a decent gift, don't blame me for defeating you, Jian Wushuang said coldly. Defeat me? By you? Xia Mang sneered. Jian Wushuang, you have no idea what you are talking about. Do you really think you can defeat me? You are merely from the ancient sect and all you have is your senior brother Master Blood Saber. You are daydreaming. Open your eyes and see. Xia Mang's voice was cold but he quickly stepped forward. Everyone in the drill ground and many experts on the stand looked at him. They watched in anticipation. The wedding gifts from the previous 15 geniuses had already given them much surprise. Now Xia Mang from the Xia clan would present his gift. The Xia clan was considered the overlord clan of the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land and held significant power. Nobody knew how strong the Xia clan's foundations were. However, everybody was aware that even during the Prime Age with the 4 emperors reigning, the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land had held the Xia clan in esteem. Many opinions held that the selection ceremony was meant to lead to an intermarriage between the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land and the Xia clan. The wedding gift prepared by the Xia clan would likely be extraordinary and surpass those presented by the previous 15 geniuses. Distinguished Emperor Lung, I am inferior Xia Mang. To marry the princess I have prepared 3 gifts. Xia Mang looked humble and spoke calmly. 3? Only 3? So what? It's not the quantity that matters, it's the quality. Perhaps just one of his gifts will outclass all the gifts from other geniuses. Everyone broke into noisy chatter. Hearing the discussion, Xia Mang smiled and produced a jade bottle. Please have a look. It's youth-retaining elixir, my first gift. Everyone in the drill ground noticed the ivory elixir with special fragrance in the jade bottle. Many people were shocked on hearing about the youth-retaining elixir, especially some female cultivators. Youth-retaining elixir. It's youth-retaining elixir. It is said that the youth-retaining elixir can maintain one's youth forever. An old lady who takes it will immediately become young and pretty. It's not useful for warriors, but it's the dream elixir for many female cultivators. The drill ground turned tumultuous. Distinguished Emperor Lung, Xia Mang said brightly, the materials to refine the youth-retaining elixir had become extinct in the eternal world. Therefore no one can make it for a long time. However, our Xia clan still has some foundations. We have 2 of them and we brought them as our first gift. 1 for you and 1 for the princess. You are quite thoughtful. Emperor Ling nodded. His coldness had melted down a little bit. Xia Mang smiled and waved his hand. 2 strokes of flowing light appeared in the empty ground nearby. The flowing light turned into 2 tall men with scarlet eyes and scarlet armor. They stood quietly but emitted strong killing intent. This created an uproar in the drill ground. They are. The experts on the stand looked at the 2 figures. Emitting such fearful killing intent. It must be Blood Emperor Puppet. Yes, that's right. There are 2 of them. They are Blood Emperor puppets. Unbelievable. These are extremely rare in the entire eternal world. Just 1 Blood Emperor puppet would be comparable to a General Dao Master. Xia Mang brought 2. The Xia clan has deep foundations. The experts appreciated the value of the gifts. They knew the 2 tall figures were very precious. Xia Mang said, the second wedding gift I've prepared is these 2 Blood Emperor puppets. I believe everyone knows that 1 Blood Emperor puppet is comparable to a normal Dao Master. That's to say, having 2 Blood Emperor puppets would be similar to having 2 Dao Masters. The whole drill ground burst into an uproar. Even though the youth-retaining elixir was rare, it was not that useful and had not surprised them. But the Blood Emperor puppet was different. 2 puppets were equal to 2 Dao Masters. What a precious gift. The 5 gifts Dong Yen had presented were insignificant compared with the 2 Blood Emperor puppets. After all the other gifts that had been presented thus far could be bought with divine gems. 2 puppet fighters with Dao Master strength were much better. I've heard that there are several Blood Emperor puppets in the Xia clan, but I didn't expect you to bring 2 today. Pretty good. Emperor Ling nodded again. It was obvious that he was quite satisfied. Xia Mang's smile widened after hearing that. Everyone waited in expectation for the 3rd gift. The second gift of the 2 rare and precious Blood Emperor puppets had already been extraordinary. The 3rd gift would be much more precious. What would that be? Xia Mang didn't keep them guessing. He took out 4 tokens. Everyone was confused because the tokens looked ordinary. Distinguished Emperor Lung, elders, you are very knowledgeable eternal world experts. Have you ever heard of Magic Cloud Valley? Xia Mang said loudly. Magic Cloud Valley? The general warriors around the drill ground were still confused. However, the top experts on the stand looked surprised. Magic Cloud Valley? The overlord of the eternal world hundreds of millions years ago? That's it. That was a very strong power. The Magic Cloud Valley in the Peak Era would be comparable to the Xia clan. Unfortunately, the Magic Cloud Valley was totally destroyed hundreds of millions years ago. Those experts had lived for quite a long time. They were familiar with the history of the eternal world. Naturally, they would have heard of the Magic Cloud Valley. Dear elders, as you all know, the reason for the doom of the Magic Cloud Valley was an unprecedented internal war. The war had tragic consequences. Many experts died. The space where the Magic Cloud Valley was located collapsed completely. Xia Mang said slowly. Chapter 9:18, I have 3 wedding gifts too. Chapter 9:18, I have 3 wedding gifts too. Magic Cloud Valley had become a mysterious relic in the eternal world since the unprecedented war. No one had been able to enter it. Xia Mang's words resounded through the drill ground. One expert on the stand nodded solemnly and said, "The Magic Cloud Valley relic is among the top 10 relics in the eternal world. It said that the tokens of the 4 great elders of the Magic Cloud Valley are needed to enter it." Did you just? That's right. Xia Mang said proudly, "The last gift I have prepared is the tokens of the 4 great elders. With them, one can go to the Magic Cloud Valley relic and obtain all the treasures in it." Wow! All the top experts on the stand were greatly surprised. The third gift was so valuable. Not only was it a complete relic, it was one of the Magic Cloud Valley, the overlord of the eternal world at that time. Although the Magic Cloud Valley was not as powerful as the Xia clan, it was pretty close. The relic of such a powerful clan was very precious. That was a huge treasure. The Xia clan had presented it to Emperor Lung as a wedding gift. So generous. Alchemy Master praised, "I've heard about the Magic Cloud Valley before. There were only a few people who survived the war. Various magic weapons and treasures were left in the relic. It's extremely valuable." Haha, generous, so generous. That's the Xia clan. Elder Deadwood laughed, but inwardly he felt sad. Among the previous 15 geniuses, the most valuable gift that had been presented was the 9-colored cloud fruit from his disciple. Xia Mang's third gift was such an incredible treasure that it dwarfed the 10 9-colored cloud fruits. Elder Deadwood realized that in terms of wedding gifts, Xia Mang had overtaken his disciple. Everyone on the stand was astonished. "Xiaoyu, you're paying a high price to win the princess's hand in marriage. If Xia clan had kept the Magic Cloud Valley relic, your overall strength would have increased 10 to 20%. Would you really rather present it as a wedding gift?" Dong Yin clan's master's tone was sarcastic as he looked at Xiaoyu. "It's just the Magic Cloud Valley relic, it's not that important. Intermarriage with the imperial house is worth it regardless of what it costs." On the surface, Xiaoyu appeared nonchalant about the loss of the treasure, but inwardly, he felt different. Nobody knew how long it had taken to obtain the tokens. It had taken nearly 1,000,000 years to collect all 4 tokens, and now they were losing them at the same time. It was understandable that Xiaoyu felt some sorrow at their loss. However, the benefits of an intermarriage with the imperial house outweighed those of the Magic Cloud Valley relic. "Distinguished Emperor Lung, are you satisfied with the 3 wedding gifts we present?" Xiaoyu asked. "Pretty good. It seems that the Xia clan has proved their good faith." The poker-faced Emperor Lung finally smiled. Indeed, the wedding gifts from the Xia clan were very outstanding, especially the third one. The benefits of the Magic Cloud Valley were significant, even for the imperial house of the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land. "Haha, it seems that the result of the wedding gifts competition is obvious." Xiaoyu laughed. "Elder Xiaoyu, is it too soon to make a judgment?" Someone snorted. Xiaoyu looked over and realized that Xueling Tian had spoken. He answered coldly, "Master Bloodsaber, do you think there is any wedding gift comparable to ours? Or are you saying that your junior brother is going to present a more precious and scarce treasure?" "Master Bloodsaber, are you daydreaming?" Xiaoyu sneered impolitely. The other experts shared the same sentiments but remained silent. Let's wait and see. I don't need to make any judgment. Everyone can tell whose wedding gift is better." Xueling Tian snorted. Xiaoyu frowned and looked towards the drill ground. Xia Mang stood back and looked at Jian Wushuang. He was surprised to see that Jian Wushuang had remained composed even though everyone else had been shocked by his gifts. Jian Wushuang stepped forward. Everyone in the drill ground stared at Jian Wushuang with expectant faces. They remembered the confrontation between Jian Wushuang and Xia Mang before the selection ceremony. Xia Mang had presented 3 impressive wedding gifts. What would Jian Wushuang present? Although it's impossible to match Xia Mang's, it would be very embarrassing if the gifts are even worse than others, someone joked. In the middle of the drill ground, Jian Wushuang walked a few steps forward and stopped. He looked up at Emperor Lung and the other experts and bowed. "Distinguished Emperor Lung, I am inferior Jian Wushuang. What a coincidence. I have brought wedding gifts too." Everyone was shocked. What a coincidence. Jian Wushuang had also prepared 3 wedding gifts. Xia Mang had just presented 3 gifts. If there were no history of bad blood between the two, it might just be a coincidence. However, given their previous confrontation, It was obvious that Jian Wushuang had done this intentionally. Also 3 gifts. Xia Mang was shocked for a moment. He sneered. Well, let's see if a bumpkin from an ordinary sect of the realm can produce anything to compete with my youth-retaining elixir, Blood Emperor Puppet and Magic Cloud Valley Relic. Chapter 9:19, The Battle Has Started. Chapter 9:19, The Battle Has Started. Silence descended in the drill ground. Everyone waited with bated breath for the reveal of Jian Wushuang's 3 wedding gifts. Jian Wushuang didn't disappoint. He flipped his palm and showed a nearly clear jade bottle. There was a light purple elixir in it. Unlike general elixirs, this elixir wasn't fragrant and had an odorous scent. The experts frowned when they saw the elixir. This elixir is called Crepe Myrtle Elixir. Jian Wushuang looked up at Emperor Lung. His voice rang out across the whole drill ground. Crepe Myrtle Elixir? Many people were confused as they had never heard about it or were aware of its function. However, Emperor Lung seemed shocked. Lung Wushuang, who was sitting beside Emperor Lung, appeared stunned as well. She looked at Wushuang. Jian Wushuang continued, more than 200 years ago, I was a 3-clawed blood eagle guard in the Royal Guard. I went through a hell level assignment with the other 3 3-clawed blood eagle guards. Hell level? Everyone was taken aback. The Blood Eagle Guard was well known in the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land. They had heard of some of their assignments too. Hell level assignment. Hell level assignments were fraught with danger. There had been few such assignments in the history of the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land. The reason for that hell level assignment was because the princess had been badly poisoned. To control the poison, a natural treasure called Yin-Yang Dragon Phoenix Fruit was needed to refine the Crepe Myrtle Elixir. I went to an impasse in the Eternal World with other 3-clawed Blood Eagle Guards. After surmounting numerous obstacles, I was the only one who survived and retrieved the Yin-Yang Dragon Phoenix Fruit. Now, I present the Crepe Myrtle Elixir, refined by that Yin-Yang Dragon Phoenix Fruit, as my first wedding gift. Jian Wushuang's voice was as loud as thunder and it rang out across the drill ground. Of course, he had mentioned the impasse without talking about the Stellar Fog Sea. The Stellar Fog Sea had been a mystery for a long time. If it were public knowledge that he had emerged from it alive, it would inevitably cause some trouble. Understanding dawned on the spectators. The Crepe Myrtle Elixir might not be very valuable, but it had been retrieved at great cost. The sincerity of the gift was incomparable. As for the function of the Crepe Myrtle Elixir. Seated at the throne in the middle of the stand, Emperor Lung raised his eyebrows. Looking at Jian Wushuang, he thought to himself, he really came out of the Stellar Fog Sea and got the Yin-Yang Dragon Phoenix Fruit. How did he manage to do it? Lung Wushuang was trembling slightly. He went to the Stellar Fog Sea for me? Her emotions were in turmoil. More than 200 years ago, Emperor Lung had sent some experts to the Stellar Fog Sea to get the Yin-Yang Dragon Phoenix Fruit for her. However, she hadn't known that Jian Wushuang had been one of them. The Stellar Fog Sea. It was the impasse from which no one came out alive. Jian Wushuang. Emperor Lung finally said, your first gift is indeed quite useful for Shuanger. Everyone was amazed with Emperor Lung's acknowledgement. For a fleeting moment, Xia Mang looked upset. It's just opportunistic. Even if his Crepe Myrtle Elixir is more useful than my youth-retaining elixir, it's just the first gift. Everyone stared at Jian Wushuang as he smiled and took out his second gift. The second gift was also an elixir in a jade bottle. However, there were 5. Distinguished Emperor Lung elders. You are all very knowledgeable. I believe you can recognize these 5 elixirs without my introduction. Jian Wushuang took one out and placed it on his palm. The experts on the stand stared at the light yellow elixir. Is it the Bodhi Dan? Yes, it's Bodhi Dan. I've seen it before. It has the same color and same fragrance. I'm sure. The legendary Bodhi Dan? Experts on the stand were agitated. Some of them even stood up. Bodhi Dan, the elixir that could allow an Eternal Realm expert to easily become a Dao Master. It was a legendary elixir in the Eternal World. It was almost extinct. One Bodhi Dan had a 90% chance of turning an Eternal Realm expert into a Dao Master. 5 Bodhi Dan meant 5 Dao Masters. These were human Dao Masters unlike Xia Mang's Blood Emperor puppets. Human experts were obviously more valuable than puppet fighters. Jian Wushuang's first gift, the Crepe Myrtle Elixir might have been only slightly better than the youth-retaining elixir. The 5 Bodhi fruits were undoubtedly far better than the 2 Blood Emperor puppets. I am very grateful to predecessor Alchemy Master for the Bodhi Dawn. Jian Wushuang looked up at Alchemy Master. He had 5 Bodhi fruits, with which it was already difficult to refine 4 Bodhi Dawn. As the number 1 alchemist, Alchemy Master had refined 5. The success rate was 100%. Seeing the 5 Bodhi Dawn, Xiayu from the Xia clan became upset. How is it possible? How did he get the Bodhi Dan? And he even brought 5? Xia Mang looked terrible but calmed down soon. Though your second gift is more precious than my Blood Emperor puppets, don't forget my third gift. The third gift from our Xia clan is an enormous treasure house. It's invincible. Xia Mang was absolutely confident with their third gift. So what if the crepe myrtle elixir had a better function than his youth-retaining elixir? So what if 5 Bodhi fruits were more precious than his 2 Blood Emperor puppets? The most important and valuable gift they had prepared was the third one. It had outshone all the gifts from the others combined. What did someone from an ordinary sect of the realm have that could compete with that? Jian Wushuang didn't mind Xia Mang at all. He looked at the experts and took a deep breath. He took out the third gift that had been prepared by his master, which had totally shocked Gu King and himself. Chapter 920, The Splendid Magic Weapon Pavilion. Chapter 920, The Splendid Magic Weapon Pavilion. The expectant crowd watched on as Jian Wushuang delivered the third wedding gift. There was an abrupt buzzing sound as a splendid palace materialized out of thin air in the void of the drill ground. Mighty and majestic aura emanated from the palace, drawing everyone's attention to it. Jian Wushuang declared, "This is the third wedding gift, the Magic Weapon Pavilion." Jian Wushuang's voice reverberated in all directions as everyone present looked at the pavilion with some skepticism. Magic Weapon Pavilion? What's the use of such a pavilion? Did anyone notice that the pavilion was taken out from his interspatial ring? Noise from the chatter echoed through the drill ground. Most of the comments reflected the doubts and suspicion of the crowd. In the upper stand, the top experts furrowed their brows as they glanced at the pavilion. This pavilion was taken out from his interspatial ring. So, it's a treasure that he can carry with him at all times. It's rare but it can't be regarded as extremely precious. An expert blurted. The third wedding gift from Jian Wushuang is a portable pavilion. This pavilion can barely compare with a peak-level emperor weapon. It may be more valuable but as the third wedding gift it's not enough. Haha, I thought he would produce a more valuable wedding gift, but this is mediocre. Xiayu mocked. Xiayu had initially been surprised at the appearance of the magic weapon pavilion in the drill ground. He laughed out loud. Jian Wushuang, this is your third wedding gift? A pavilion? Haha, this pavilion is less valuable than Bodhi Dan. Are you making fun of Emperor Ling by presenting it as your last wedding gift? Despite Xia Mang's sarcastic words, Jian Wushuang maintained his composure and he continued to smile. This is the wedding gift my master had carefully prepared for me. Today let me open your eyes. Jian Wushuang's eyes were lit up with energy. In the upper stand, Jian Wushuang's senior brother Xuelingtian's gaze intensified. It begins. With a serious expression on his face, Jian Wushuang stared at the huge pavilion in front of him and focused his thoughts on it. Open. The pavilion opened wide in response to Jian Wushuang's command. The interior of the pavilion was revealed. Xia Mang, who had been ridiculing Jian Wushuang a minute ago, froze. In the upper stand, Xiayu was also taken aback. The spectators in the drill ground were stunned at the scene inside the magic weapon pavilion. Within the magic weapon pavilion, there were dense and innumerable exhibition shelves, each piled with countless magic weapons in a neat and orderly fashion. There were various kinds of magic weapons. It held all treasures one could imagine, like swords, broadswords, axes, spears, magic weapons and so on. Most importantly, these magic weapons possessed extremely tough and strong auras. The auras had different characters, ranging from hostile and brutal, dark and cold and sacred. All of these weapons had reached Emperor weapon level. The magic weapon pavilion turned out to be a huge treasure vault filled with numerous Emperor weapons. It was composed entirely of countless Emperor weapons. Everyone was shocked. Jian Wushuang, who had remained standing in front of magic weapon pavilion, took a deep breath and opened his mouth slowly. His voice was cold, but every word resounded like the beat of a drum. Magic weapon pavilion contains innumerable Emperor weapons. This includes 2,631 Sword Emperor weapons, 1,594 Broadsword Emperor weapons, 1,423 Spear Emperor weapons, 1,080 Axe Emperor weapons, Stick Emperor weapons. In total, there are 13,799 Emperor weapons. Counting the Magic Weapon Pavilion, which is comparable to a peak Emperor weapon, there are exactly 13,800 Emperor weapons. This is the third wedding gift that I have specially prepared to marry Her Royal Highness. At the end of his declaration, Jian Wushuang's voice was close to a roar. His hands were also tightly clenched, and his eyes were filled with unprecedented energy and light. A total of 13,800 magic weapons, and all were Emperor weapons. He believed that his incredible wedding gift would override all others in the selection ceremony. Xia Clan. Magic Cloud Valley? I will see if the so-called Magic Cloud Valley relics are superior to my 13,800 Emperor weapons. Jian Wushuang's heart was howling. There was dead silence. An eerie silence had descended in the drill ground. The only sound that could be heard was that of the accelerated pulses of the experts present. The experts present stared at the massive magic weapons in the Magic Weapon Pavilion. Shock turned to panic and then to fury and madness. More than half of the top experts in the stand couldn't help standing up. Even Xia Yu from Xia Clan stood up. Jian Wushuang's words continued to echo in their heads. 13,800. They were not merely 8,000 divine weapons or eternal weapons, but 13,800 Emperor weapons. Those were precious Emperor weapons, which would be highly valued even by Dao masters. They had also realized that many of the Emperor weapons had reached advanced level or even peak level. 13,800. It was the sheer number of weapons that made all present tremble in shock and disbelief. This was an unprecedented and unbelievable wedding gift. Everyone was stunned by the number of Emperor weapons in the Magic Weapon Pavilion. All were stupefied. But this was normal. After all, when Xueling Tian received this wedding gift, even the experienced Bone King who had wandered around with 8-star Imperial God was freaking out. All of you are surprised. Which King gloated and hummed in the body of Jian Wushuang. He was pleased at the reaction of the crowd. He was certain that Jian Wushuang's wedding gift was unparalleled enough to shock the whole world. Chapter 921, Crush at Wedding Gifts. Chapter 921, Crush at Wedding Gifts. It was silent in the drill ground. The huge sacred magic weapon pavilion was quietly suspended in the void. Aura from the magic weapons within emanated from it. The horrible number 138,000 echoed in everyone's mind. The experts in the stand had a wealth of experience and soon recovered from their shock. After coming back to themselves, those in the stand were in a frenzy. How is it even possible? Oh God! 138,000 magic weapons? If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would never believe it. It's incredible that someone can collect such a vast number of magic weapons for a wedding gift. Haha, 138,000 Emperor weapons. I really doubt that he brought all the Emperor weapons in the eternal world here. It's too incredible. There were gasps of horror. As experienced as the experts were, they had never witnessed such a shocking scene. Even Emperor Leng found it hard to restrain his shock. How is it possible? So many Emperor weapons. If Tang of the East spared no effort, we probably won't be able to obtain 1 or 2/10 of these weapons. How did he achieve this? Emperor Ling muttered as he speculated on a possible reason. Is it from Stellar Fog Sea? The Stellar Fog Sea is so mysterious that no one has emerged from it alive for a long time. No one knows what is inside. Jian Wushuang managed to survive the Stellar Fog Sea. It is probable that he gained a great opportunity there and obtained an incredible number of Emperor weapons. As for that Bodhi Dan, it is probably from the Stellar Fog Sea too. Yes, definitely from Stellar Fog Sea. Emperor Leng confirmed his guess inwardly. Jian Wushuang had indeed gained a great opportunity in the Stellar Fog Sea. The Bodhi fruit to refine the Bodhi Dan was from Stellar Fog Sea. But the Magic Weapon Pavilion had nothing to do with Stellar Fog Sea. This Magic Weapon Pavilion had been given by his mysterious master Xian Yi. And the 138,000 Emperor weapons were also from Xian Yi. This was a big gift from his master. Seated at the long table, Xueling Tian smiled slightly and looked around. You guys, what do you think of the third wedding gift prepared by my junior brother? Incredible. The master from Dongyan clan said, 138,000 emperor weapons. Even if Dongyan clan sells all it owns, it cannot compare to 1% of this magic weapon pavilion. Master Bloodsaber, how did your junior brother get all these emperor weapons? All eyes turned to Tian. They were curious about how Jian Wushuang had managed to obtain such a huge number of emperor weapons. Was this opportunity in defiance of the natural order? Don't bother with how my junior brother got these emperor weapons. I just want to know how this gift compares with that offered by Xia Mang from Xia clan? Tian asked with a slight smile on his face. The experts in the stand were in a daze for a second and exchanged glances. They were too embarrassed to respond in Xia Yu's presence, but the answer was obvious. Jian Wushuang and Xia Mang had each prepared 3 wedding gifts. Xia Mang's gifts were indeed extremely precious, especially the 3rd Magic Cloud Valley relic, which had surpassed all others in the convention. However, compared to Jian Wushuang's gifts, Xia Mang's gifts were inferior. The disparity was immense. For the first wedding gift, Xia Mang had offered youth-retaining elixir. Jian Wushuang had provided crepe myrtle elixir. Youth-retaining elixir and crepe myrtle elixir were of equal rarity and value. Youth-retaining elixir stopped aging for female cultivators. This was an attractive feature, but it had no truly useful functions. On the other hand, crepe myrtle elixir could inhibit the toxin in Lung Wushuang's body. Besides, Jian Wushuang had overcome great obstacles and retrieved it at great risk to himself. This love alone was something that Xia Mang could not compare with. The disparity between the second wedding gifts was more obvious. The 2 Blood Emperor puppets given by Xia Mang owned Dao Master level strength, but they were merely puppet fighters. Bodhi Dan offered by Jian Wushuang could produce human Dao Master experts. There were also 5 Bodhi Dan, and therefore potentially 5 human Dao Masters. And as for the 3rd wedding gift, Xia Mang had provided 4 tokens that granted access to the Magic Cloud Valley relics. To obtain the treasures from Magic Cloud Valley, effort, cost and time would need to be spent by the bearer of the tokens. Furthermore, only 50 or 60% of treasures may be retrieved. The Magic Weapon Pavilion offered by Jian Wushuang required no further cost or effort by the recipient of the gift. Most importantly, while the Magic Cloud Valley relics held a large number of treasure opportunities, their combined value did not even come close to the value of the Magic Weapon Pavilion. A total of 138,000 Emperor weapons. This number was really incredible. It was estimated that there was nothing in the entire Eternal World which could match the value of these magic weapons. Naturally, the Magic Cloud Valley relics paled in comparison to them. So the 3 wedding gifts from Jian Wushuang and Xia Mang were compared. None of the wedding gifts from Xia Mang were comparable to those presented by Jian Wushuang. In the stand, Xia Yu's face flushed. The Xia clan had spent millions of years searching for the Magic Cloud Valley relics. He had intended for the gift to shock the selection ceremony. He had not expected that Jian Wushuang's wedding gifts that would be much more precious than the Magic Cloud Valley relics. This was completely beyond his and everyone's expectations. A small boy from a remote domain and an ordinary sect had presented wedding gifts that far surpassed their Xia's. If news of this spread, their first overlord clan, Xia clan in the Tang of the East, would inevitably become a laughingstock. So what if he has better wedding gifts than Xia clan? The selection ceremony doesn't just look at wedding gifts. It considers talents and strengths too. We'll see who has the last laugh. Xia Yu snorted coldly. Chapter 922, A Competition of Strength. Chapter 922, A Competition of Strength. The experts in the stand nodded at Xia Yu's words. Indeed, wedding gifts was only one aspect of the selection ceremony. Strength mattered too. Moreover, the wedding gifts was only an external factor, and did not speak for the ability of a person. Someone who was lucky and had no abilities could still obtain treasures that others couldn't reach. Many people felt that Jian Wushuang had probably lucky to get Bodhi Dan and Magic Weapon Pavilion. In the drill ground, Xia Mang had recovered from his shock. A grimace remained on his face. As he glanced at Jian Wushuang, coldness emerged in his eyes. Jian Wushuang, I have no idea how you got the Magic Weapon Pavilion. The strength and talent competition is next. This totally depends on personal strength. I shall see how you can compete with me. Xia Mang had utmost confidence in his strength. He was recognized as the first genius in the Eternal World. He was fully deserving of the title of first Eternal Realm expert in the Eternal World. Over the years, many strong Eternal Realm experts had challenged him but lost. Without a doubt, the strength competition was totally different from the wedding gifts competition. From his seat in the middle of the stand, Emperor Lung looked down. The strength and talent competition is next. As for the competition rules. Before Emperor Lung had finished his sentence, Dongyan Chong from Dongyan clan in the drill ground took the lead. He stood outside and said respectfully, "Emperor Lung, the strength competition need not be so troublesome." Oh. Emperor Lung glanced at Dongyan Chong. Dongyan Chong continued gravely, "As we all know, Xia Mang is well known as the first Eternal Realm expert in the Eternal World, and also the first genius. In terms of strength he should be the strongest. Since this selection ceremony aims to select the strongest person, there is no need to waste time. If any one of us has doubts about Xia Mang's strength, just challenge him. Anyone who defeats him wins the competition. I know very well that I can't beat Xia Mang, so for this round of competition, I will just give up." Many people around Dongyan Chong shared his sentiments. Unlike the first round competition on wedding gifts, no suspense existed for the second round competition on strength. It was widely recognized that Xia Mang was the first Eternal Realm expert in the Eternal World. Even other geniuses with extraordinary strength not on the same level as him. "What do you think, Xia Mang?" Emperor Lung said as he looked down. "I don't mind." Xia Mang laughed. "How about you?" Emperor Lung looked at Jian, Wushuang, Ku Yi and others. They nodded their assent. "So that's it. If any one of you has any doubts about Xia Mang's strength, just challenge him. If not, we'll take it that you have given up," Emperor Lung said. As Emperor Lung finished his words, all the geniuses, apart from Jian Wushuang, looked in Xia Mang's direction. Like Dongyan Chong, more than half of them had no intention of challenging Xia Mang. The rest of them were hesitant. Finally, a long-haired man with a saber stepped out. This long-haired man was the personal disciple of Deep Sea Palace Master, Li Tianqiu. Li Tianqiu appeared in front of Xia Mang with a cold and indifferent face and shocking killing intent. "I have long heard that Master Mubai of Xia clan is the first Eternal Realm in the Eternal World. It is a pity that we had no chance to meet previously. Since we have that opportunity today, we should have a good fight. Besides, since I set foot on the 6 steps of Eternal Realm thousands of years ago, I have encountered many Eternal Realm top experts but never lost a fight. Let's see if I'm defeated today," Li Tianqiu said coldly. "As you wish," Xia Mang said with a slight smile. There was absolute confidence in his words and behavior. "Just go ahead." "Humph." Li Tianqiu was very decisive. With a cold snort he started to attack. With a rapid wraith-like move he leapt forward. The void before Xia Mang was suddenly broken and a strong wind swept over. When Li Tianqiu's body appeared, the saber he had carried behind him appeared in his hand. Aggression emanated from him. Swish. A black saber shadow pierced forward. Xia Mang had been standing quietly looking at Li Tianqiu's slash. When the ghost-like saber shadow approached him, a faint smile showed on his lips. He slapped his hand in front of him. This slap was as light as cloud and wind. However, its impact had a horrible, earth-crushing power which forced Li Tianqiu to retreat. "What?" Li Tianqiu was shocked. He had not expected his slash to be so easily blocked by Xia Mang. He stepped back trembling. No wonder he is the first Eternal Realm in the Eternal World. He is truly strong. In that case, Li Tianqiu unleashed his full strength. A vast black fog surged violently upwards from his body and expanded to the surroundings. In a very short time, it had developed into a huge black ocean. It covered most of drill ground and obscured Li Tianqiu's figure. At the sight of this scene, the experts on the stand sighed. They turned and looked at a black-robed bearded old man who wore a cold expression on his face. This was Li Tianqiu's master, the Deep Sea Palace Master. "Deep Sea Palace Master, this disciple of yours is quite good. At such a young age, he has cultivated your unique secret skill to such a high level. It seems that he has fully mastered Chapter 1 of Spiritual Sea Realm and carved out his own Tao. He is not far from being a Tao Master. Deep Sea, congratulations on having such a good disciple." Unmoved by the praise showered on him, Deep Sea Palace Master responded with a cold snort. "My disciple's strength is good, but compared with Xia Mang he has a long way to go. I think that slap from Xia Mang has shown part of his own Tao. And in my opinion that should be creation-level Tao, but it was not perfect. Chapter 923 Life or Death. Chapter 923 Life or Death. Creation Level Tao. The experts present expressed their admiration, but they were not surprised. They had recognized it too. An eternal realm who wanted to be a Tao master had to develop his own Tao. And the Tao that was cultivated had various levels. In the eternal world, the Tao that was cultivated had 3 levels: general level, universe level, and creation level. A higher the Tao level would result in greater strength after breaking through Tao master. Like Bodhi Dan, it helped the eternal realm to cultivate his own Tao in a very short time. The basic Tao cultivated was general level. The creation level Tao was more than 10 times stronger than general level Tao. Xia Mang had cultivated creation level Tao, but it was not perfect. No wonder he is the first genius in the eternal world. He had the courage to develop creation level Tao as an eternal realm. How bold and resolute. If he had cultivated general level or universe level Tao, he would have taken a long time to become a Tao master. What an exceptional genius. Many experts sang his praises. Xiaoyu from Xia clan was filled with pride as he heard the others' acclamations. In the drill ground, Li Tianqiu changed into a huge deep sea within which many figures appeared. The figures struck Xia Mang with killing moves. These included the cold and domineering saber technique and a huge black mountain striking towards Xia Mang. Xia Mang stood in the middle of Black Sea and dealt with the attacks calmly and effortlessly. That's it. Xia Mang's lips curled and pressed his hand outwards. The force from this move rushed toward the huge Black Sea in front of him and cracked the void before him. This horrible power continued to pass to the Black Sea. The impact set off huge waves in the Black Sea. At the same time, the Black Sea began to shrink at an alarming rate. After a moment, the Black Sea gathered together and the figure of Li Tianqiu appeared. Li Tianqiu's face was pale. A trace of blood hung in the corner of his mouth and his aura was weak. No wonder you are the first eternal realm in the eternal world, Xia Mang. I thought we would have a close fight, even if I could not defeat you with my ability. It never occurred to me that I can't even make you show your full strength. Now I am utterly convinced that I have lost this fight. Li Tianqiu said with a low voice. You did well. Xia Mang made a small obeisance. People in the drill ground were all inwardly amazed at the result of the fight and Li Tianqiu's words. Li Tianqiu is very powerful, but he still lost the fight. Xia Mang didn't even use all his strength. The result should be acceptable to Li Tianqiu. After all, his opponent is Xia Mang. Xia Mang is so strong that no one in the eternal realms can defeat him. Chatter broke out among the audience along the perimeter of the drill ground. Li Tianqiu withdrew. Having witnessed Xia Mang's prowess, the geniuses who had been hesitant about challenging Xia Mang looked at each other and smiled bitterly. They were now certain that they had no way of challenging him. They would be easily defeated by Xia Mang, so there was no point in embarrassing themselves by challenging him. Xia Mang's grin widened and was filled with menace as he glared at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang. Xia Mang's resounding voice reverberated through the drill ground. 200 years ago, outside the Circus Island, you killed my brother Xia Yan. Today, at this selection ceremony, would you dare to have a fight with his brother? Life or death? Xia Mang's voice had become extremely cold at the last few words. The drill ground was in uproar. Challenge was from Xia Mang to Jian Wushuang, instead of Jian Wushuang challenging Xia Mang. Haha, it's getting more interesting. Does Jian Wushuang dare accept the challenge? Accept the challenge? He is stupid if he accepts. This is a strength competition. It's not like the first round of wedding gifts competition. Besides, Xia Mang has declared a life or death duel. Even if Xia Mang kills Jian Wushuang in the fight, he will receive no punishment. How cruel Xia Mang is. Voices filled with horror echoed through the drill ground. The audience waited in anticipation. They wanted to know if Jian Wushuang, who had violently opposed Xia Mang from the very beginning, won the first wedding gifts competition and crushed Xia Mang thoroughly, dared to accept Xia Mang's challenge, a life or death duel. The top experts in the stand wore interested expressions. Elder Xiaoyu, this selection ceremony is held by Emperor Leng. I'm afraid it's not good to have a killing happen here? A master from a big clan besides Xiaoyu exclaimed. Jian Wushuang killed second master of Xia clan. How can this be so simple? I have said that no one can protect him today. As for selection ceremony, we Xia clan of course, won't go against Emperor Leng. If Jian Wushuang has no courage, he can just refuse the challenge. Xia clan will find another chance after the selection ceremony to kill him. Xia Yu added coldly. Xueling Tian, who was quietly sitting opposite Xia Yu, smiled slightly when he heard Xia Yu's words. Challenge my little junior brother? And a life-or-death duel? Ha, Xia Mang is really good at digging his own grave. Xueling Tian laughed coldly and said nothing. Idiot, Xia Mang is really an idiot. In the same stand, Wang Yuan, who was sitting beside Alchemy Master, laughed out with no mercy. Others say he is the first eternal realm in the eternal world and he really believes it. He has just never met our third brother. This Xia Mang is looking for his own death. Yang Zixuan nodded as he stood beside him with his arms crossed over his chest. With all eyes on him, Jian Wushuang stepped forward. He lifted his sharp eyes and stared at Xia Mang. He spoke with an icy voice. Its effect was akin to that of a furious thunder blast. You want to fight? So be it. Between you and me, it's life or death. Chapter 924 Jian Wushuang against Xia Mang. Chapter 924 Jian Wushuang against Xia Mang. Jian Wushuang's towering size burned with wrath following his thunderous roar. He joined the fight. He joined the fight. This is a battle of certain doom. How is it possible that he agrees to join the fight? What courage! Is that folly, or does he indeed wield strength enough to defeat his opponent? Cries and yelling drowned over the incessant chatters rising from the spectators' stand of the arena. Seeing that Jian Wushuang appeared to accept his challenge, Xia Mang smiled maliciously. He flicked his wrist. A blood-red glove appeared out of nowhere, worn over his hand. The glove exuded an aura of intense bloodthirstiness and malice, a clear sign that it was a strong and potent emperor weapon. This appearance of the glove itself roused the fear of everyone present. Many of the spectators present noted that Xia Mang had not used his glove when he defeated Li Tianqiu. It seems that Xia Mang is thirsty for blood. The spectators braced themselves for a gruesome and terrible fight. Some of them even began to fear for Jian Wushuang. Xia Mang was the greatest warrior of the eternal realm in the lands of the eternal world. Even the invincible Li Tianqiu was defeated by him without any apparent effort. It was widely believed that no other warrior of the same realm would be equal to Xia Mang. Xia Mang clenched tightly his gloved fists and instantly, the fabric of space of the air around it began to crack and tear. With a stare filled with hate and malice, Xia Mang looked at Jian Wushuang. I will let you realize, Jian Wushuang, the differences between you and me. Let the fight begin. Jian Wushuang voiced rumbled as he replied coldly, his arms crossed at his front. Xia Mang giggled wickedly and disappeared into thin air even before his laughter ended, appearing behind Jian Wushuang in the blink of an eye. Such a speed! The audience all gasped with amazement. Such a speed indeed, even Li Tianqiu himself could hardly hide his bewilderment. Xia Mang had not displayed the full extent of his quickness in his battle against Li Tianqiu. What he had now shown was the agility and pace which none of the eternal realm could rival. Whoosh! A huge wave of air swept across the arena into the spectators' stands. Xia Mang appeared before Jian Wushuang, his cold and deathly eyes gleaming hungrily. Without allowing his opponent any chance to react, he struck at where Jian Wushuang stood immediately with his gloved fist. The earth-shattering stroke. Xia Mang bellowed loudly. His fist slammed forth with terrifying destructiveness that even the air trembled. The fabric of space crumbled before the tremendous force of his stroke. The aura of his blow passed through the distortion caused to the rupture in the continuum of space, growing rapidly into the size of a huge mountain, a blood-red mountain of death. The huge blood-red mound sped directly at Jian Wushuang, threatening to slam into him with a force sufficient to decimate all lives. The overwhelming power of the aura from Xia Mang's stroke tore through the air, ripping the surrounding space into shreds as it began to crackle and snap. The spectators at the stands all beheld the spectacle fearfully with their breaths held, watching blankly at what was to come. To them of the common masses, this should not even be possible with one of the eternal realm. Does Xia Mang intend to kill Jian Wushuang in one stroke? One stroke. It may be possible with so powerful and terrible a stroke. The crowd now began to mutter and whisper anxiously. But Jian Wushuang was still looking calm and collected, clearly unfazed by the tide of death rolling towards him. He could feel the pressure crashing into him face first from the lumbering aura in the form of a blood-red mound rushing towards him. It was a strength almost impossible and yet immensely powerful for one of the eternal realm. But this was hardly anything in the eyes of Jian Wushuang. With everyone staring at him, Jian Wushuang moved. He lowered himself into a horse stance and channeled all the might he could muster into his right fist. This startled everyone who was watching him. He's not drawing his sword? He carries a long sword. He should most likely be a cultivator of swordsmanship. But why is he not drawing his sword to defend himself? What is he doing? Is he thinking of fighting against Xia Mang with only his fists? Is he mad? Or is he giving up, knowing that his end is inevitable? Clearly Xia Mang has given his all by using his magical weapon. He even used his most powerful secret technique. And yet, Jian Wushuang chose to fight against him barehanded? This is courting death. He is mad. The bystanders around Jian Wushuang all believed that he was either driven mad or he had committed a serious blunder. But in truth, Jian Wushuang was as tranquil as a still lake. A mere warrior of the eternal realm does not require me to draw my sword. Jian Wushuang screamed within himself with rage. He clenched his fist tightly, concentrating his powers and readied himself to retaliate. In his fist, Jian Wushuang had accumulated the huge and terrifying powers produced by his methods of inverse cultivation, that allowed him greater power than that of his current level, which were increased by 72-fold with the use of the 24th level of the Star River secret skill. The methods of inverse cultivation alone had bestowed upon Jian Wushuang strength and power far beyond that of the eternal realm, yet he had also used the Star River secret skill to further enhance its yield by 72-fold. 72-fold. The powers he wielded were truly unfathomable. I have something I have been waiting to tell you, Xia Mang. Jian Wushuang wore a solemn expression as he looked at his opponent through the distorted anomaly between them. Standing behind the huge blood-red mound of auric energies, Xia Mang was indeed surprised by Jian Wushuang's sudden remark. You have always been widely acclaimed as the strongest warrior of the eternal realm in the domain of the eternal world. But to me you are nothing but a mere mockery of your pitiful self. Worthless and puny. Jian Wushuang's boomed loudly across the arena. At the same time he punched with his fists forward, unleashing the astounding force that he had held in his fist. Bang! He drove his fist forward, creating a huge spiraling corkscrew of raging winds that immediately dispelled everything in its path. With only sheer might, Jian Wushuang had shown that he required no secret techniques or any methods to defeat his foe. It was a punch that fully demonstrated his power, which was already close to that of a Dao master. With no need of drawing his sword or the use of any secret techniques, Jian Wushuang had shown to the world that he possessed the strength of a Dao master. And his single blow had fully illustrated how easily he could defeat his foe. Down you go! Jian Wushuang roared. Rumble! The gigantic blood-red mound of auric energy shook and began to crumble, disintegrating instantly once it hit Jian Wushuang's fist. But his stroke was far from ending. The auric blow from his punch, after reducing the huge blood-red mound into nothingness, shot straight at Xia Mang and blasted directly into his outstretched palm, which was wearing the blood-red glove. Bang! Then a loud crack like a smashing sledgehammer reached their ears of everyone around immediately, followed by the subtle, terrifying sounds of cracking bones. How is it possible? Xia Mang's eyes widened with shock and disbelief as he looked at his right hand. His hand was completely mangled. The bones of his hand to his arm have all been utterly crushed by the shock of the blast, which did not stop at that. Instead, the impact was transmitted to all parts of his body. Chapter 925, Double. Chapter 925, Double? Erg? A huge mouthful of blood gushed from Xia Mang's mouth, escaping like a pouring dam. Like a kite with a broken string, he staggered uncontrollably for a moment and collapsed to the ground. The greatest eternal realm warrior of the eternal world. Jian Wushuang smirked faintly as he slowly withdrew his fist. But his words were hardly a lie. With the power Jian Wushuang now wielded, the title of the greatest warrior of the eternal realm was nothing but a paltry sideshow to him. Even Zidong, whom he had encountered during his second test at the Star Island, was much stronger than Xia Mang. With the power of the divine realm I wield, I could have pummeled Zidong into heaps of filth during the third test of the Black Tower back then. Now that I have reached the eternal realm level, it is hardly surprising that my power has increased many folds. Jian Wushuang brooded to himself. The cacophonic dissonance of cries and screams in the arena instantly fell into a deadly silence. The tens of thousands of spectators were all dazed, their eyes wide with disbelief and their jaws dropped and speechless. Even the greatest experts who have been watching from the void were awestruck into a bewildered taciturnity. One stroke. Indeed, it was all he took. But it was not Xia Mang who annihilated Jian Wushuang. Instead, it was Jian Wushuang who had so easily crippled Xia Mang. Xia. Xia Mang lost? A voice broke the eerie silence across the arena. It was a voice which escaped from an unknown mouth. In the next moment, the entire arena erupted into roars and jumped to its feet. Impossible. Am I dreaming? A warrior of the Eternal Realm defeated Xia Mang. And he did that with a single stroke. Is he really only at the Eternal Realm level and not a Dao Master? But how was it possible that a warrior of the Eternal Realm could defeat Xia Mang with only one blow? This is inconceivable. None could easily believe what they were now seeing. The notion of Xia Mang being so carelessly defeated was only too unthinkable to everyone around. The uproar was very much greater, even much greater than the moment when Jian Wushuang had produced the magic weapon Pavilion. After all, his opponent was none other than the greatest warrior of the Eternal Realm, the indomitable Xia Mang. The crowd witnessing the unbelievable spectacle would hardly be so terrified if Jian Wushuang had defeated Xia Mang in a close fight. But the fact that Xia Mang was utterly incapacitated with only a single blow had sent the crowd into delirious fervors of insanity. Who else but Dao Masters could so easily defeat Xia Mang with only one stroke in the vast domain of the Eternal World? Step 7. High above atop the platform, the Lord of Circe's Island was the first to rise to his feet. His eyes gleamed brightly as his gaze was transfixed upon Jian Wushuang. Indeed, only a prodigy of immeasurable talent who had reached the fabled Step 7 could possess the strength of a Dao Master despite being only an Eternal Realm warrior. Jian Wushuang is clearly such a prodigy. The legendary Step 7. It was said that only one had reached Step 7 many long years ago. Who would have expected that we would witness the emergence of another equally talented prodigy? This is unthinkable. An Eternal Realm warrior who possesses the power of a Dao Master? Even the greatest warriors in the domain could hardly refrain from being surprised and amazed as they surveyed Jian Wushuang. The strength and talents that Jian Wushuang had displayed had utterly exceeded their imaginations. Your junior brother is remarkable indeed, Blood Saber. I wager the Temple Master would be pleased to have one of such talents if he is here. The elder with flowing white hair said. He was the other master of the Void Temple. That may be so. This junior brother of mine commands greater talents and potential that dwarfs even mine. Xueling Tian smiled with pride. He immediately turned towards Xiaoyu who was seated right opposite of him and sneered, Do you have anything else to say, Xiaoyu? The battle is far from over. What are you being cheerful about? Xiaoyu retorted coldly. Ah. Xuelingqian's eyebrows twitched suspiciously. Everyone above the stands turned immediately to Xiaoyu, watching him dubiously. It was clear that Jian Wushuang had reached Step 7, the level of strength that Xia Mang could never hope to defeat. But why was Xiaoyu not admitting being defeated when Xia Mang was already in such dire state? Was he hoping that the Master Mubai of the Xia clan would die in battle here and now? In the hands of Jian Wushuang. Ha ha. As if on a cue, the answer revealed itself to the entire arena instantly. Xia Mang, who was sprawled on the ground, drenched in the blood and viscera of his mangled and gnarled arm, began to scream and laugh maniacally. Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang. Xia Mang howled continuously, like a deranged and wounded beast. His voice rang through the entire arena, filled with hate and malice. Jian Wushuang looked intently at Xia Mang, his expression grim and sullen. With a face as pale as death, Xia Mang's eyes flared with rage and contempt. An icy voice reverberated from his throat, echoing in a crisp and clear tone across the arena. I have not expected that you wield such power, Jian Wushuang. Surely you have reached the legendary Step 7, unless I am very much mistaken? Ah. Great. You are powerful indeed. You are the second to have reached the fabled Step 7 in the entire history of the Eternal World. Xia Mang continued yelling deliriously. Jian Wushuang frowned with a foreboding dread, not knowing what else was hidden in his opponent's sleeves. Everyone in the arena could only watch in silence and doubt. Why is Xiaoyu not admitting being defeated? What does he intend to do? Ha ha ha. His insane voice turned sharp and steely suddenly. Do you honestly believe that this is enough to defeat me, Jian Wushuang? Ha ha. How naive. What revolting arrogance. Wait. Just wait till you see this. Xia Mang continued breaking into another fit of maniacal hysteria. No one could understand what he was trying to say. Even Jian Wushuang himself was puzzled, but he could not shake off a strange feeling of premonition. Just then, poof! A figure shot from the sky, smashing into the grounds with the suddenness, speed and intensity of a comet falling from the sky, creating a huge crater in the middle of the dueling grounds. Slowly the dust began to subside, revealing the identity of the figure. But everyone, including the many prominent warriors of the land who were seated upon the stands, instantly jumped with shock. The person was completely the same with Xia Mang. He was a complete double, bearing the same appearance and poise. There was only one difference between them both. The newcomer wielded an aura many times greater than the Xia Mang that Jian Wushuang had defeated, a superior aura that was at another complete level. You have done well, Jian Wushuang. Despite being at the Eternal Realm level, you have managed to defeat my doppelganger. The frosty voice came from the Xia Mang, who had just appeared. With a blink of an eye, the entire arena burst into another frenzy of panic and madness. A double. It was a doppelganger. It was merely a double that Jian Wushuang defeated. But his double could defeat Li Tianqiu with ease. His true power would surely be invincible. The gazes and stares of the spectators in the arena froze instantly upon the true Xia Mang. All of them shared an uneasy shudder. For it was clear that Xia Mang's aura was many times greater than that of his doppelganger. An aura which was clearly of the level of Tao Master. Chapter 926, The Battle of the Tao Masters. Chapter 926, The Battle of the Tao Masters. Tao Master. Xia Mang is now a Tao Master. How long has it been since he started cultivating? Surprised, everyone on the drill ground began discussing Xia Mang. The top experts in the audience wore very colorful expressions after detecting Xia Mang's aura. How could he be a Tao Master? I heard that he's only been cultivating for thousands of years, but he's become a Tao Master in such a short time. I think he's the youngest Tao Master in the history of the eternal world. His doppelganger had deceived us all by only revealing part of his Tao earlier. Now that he has become a Taoist, he must have opened up a complete Tao at the creation level. Even if he's new to the rank, he's probably at the top of rank 1 with a Tao at the creation level. The experts looked at Xia Mang with respect. Xia Mang had previously shown great potential, but to them he had been just an insignificant youngster. However, Xia Mang was now a Tao Master who had opened up a Tao at the creation level. This was enough for the experts to regard him as their equal. There were 3 ranks for a Tao Master. Xia Mang had demonstrated the battle strength of someone at the top of rank 1. Elder Xiaoyu, you have a great expert in your clan, the expert said. He has become a Tao Master at such a young age with a Tao at the creation level. He'll go on to achieve even greater things in the future. Xiaoyu wore a smug look as the experts in the audience sang praises about Xia Mang. The old dog. No wonder he's so confident in this battle. It turned out that it was Xia Mang's doppelganger earlier, while the real thing has long become a Tao Master. Shueling Tian clenched his hands, his face turning gloomy. Xia Mang stood in the center of the drill ground. He had recalled his doppelganger, and there was powerful aura from his original body. He looked over at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang was now reassessing Xia Mang as an opponent. He would have nothing to fear if Xia Mang was only in the Eternal Realm, but things were different now that the latter had become a Tao Master. After all, there was a huge difference between an Eternal Realm expert and a Tao Master. Be careful, Jian Wushuang. Xia Mang has opened up a Tao at the creation level and became a top rank 1 Tao Master. Gu Qing's voice rang in Jian Wushuang's mind, warning him. Maybe I shouldn't have looked down on him before. Well, no. This makes things more interesting, Jian Wushuang said, licking his lips as he felt his bloodline power surge. Boom. His bloodline power exploded and his body immediately turned golden. 2 quadrangular stars appeared on his chest. 2-star gold-armored ancient god. However, unlike before, his body did not grow too much. He was only about 2 meters high after making his transformation. It was because Jian Wushuang was able to control the size of his body after turning into the 2-star ancient god. I'd like to see how powerful you are as a Tao Master, Jian Wushuang said. Jian Wushuang, the gold-armored ancient god, looked at Xia Mang with a pair of dark golden eyes. The desire to battle rose from his body. You'll find out soon, Xia Mang replied. Following these words, Xia Mang flew high up in the void. Then he brought his palm, covered in a blood-colored glove, down to the spot where Jian Wushuang was standing in with force. The slam turned into a bloody mountain, skyrocketing dozens of times more powerfully than before. Jian Wushuang was no longer where he was by the time the bloody mountain descended. Boom! The bloody mountain crashed onto the ground, causing the entire drill ground to shake violently. Then the center of the ground caved in to form a massive hand-shaped pit. The pit was several miles wide and more than 10 feet deep. Countless gravel was sent flying. Every blade of grass in the area withered. Swoosh! Jian Wushuang appeared next to Xia Mang in a strange and unpredictable manner. The scarlet sword appeared in his hand at the same time, emitting a horrible killing intent. It was his Blood Mountain sword. His sword had become all that more powerful after he entered the Eternal Realm. Jian Wushuang swiped Xia Mang with his sword in a casual manner, and a scarlet thunderbolt burst forth from the tip of the sword, carrying a potent destructive aura. The scarlet thunderbolt was none other than the divine Yin thunder that he had cultivated on the Star Island. Hum! The sword light smashed through the void, destroying everything in its path. Xia Mang sneered and hoisted himself higher up into the void with a slight movement. The sword light swept past his feet. The sword light ended up sweeping the perimeter of the drill ground after missing its target. The countless spectators that stood on the fringe of the drill ground panicked when they saw the sword light charging at them. The general of the royal guards, who was in charge of maintaining order in the assembly, intervened just then. The general, a genuine Dao master, rushed toward the edge of the drill ground as quick as lightning. As he raised his right hand and made a fist, a giant demonic ape phantom appeared behind him. He threw a punch, causing an explosion in the air. Crash! The sword light collided with the fist, sending horrible waves and air currents flying in all directions. What? The general of the royal guards was surprised. He was stunned that his punch had merely blocked the sword light, not entirely shattering it. The horrible air currents formed a huge storm that swept over the spectators on the rear. There were more than 100,000 of them who stood close to the battlefield, and they were all hurt by the storm that carried a small amount of sword essence. It took a moment for the storm to be settled. The scene stunned the crowd. The horrible palm attack had destroyed everything within a few miles of its force. The sword light had formed a storm and knocked down more than 100,000 people, and after the general of the royal guards intercepted it, to boot. What kind of absurd strength was this? It's a battle between Dao masters. A sudden uproar swept everyone on the drill ground. Chapter 927, You're Still a Joke as a Dao Master. Chapter 927, You're Still a Joke as a Dao Master. The experts in the audience did not expect this battle to evolve into such a situation. The original contest between the two groups in the Eternal Realm had now turned into a battle between Dao Masters. Emperor Leng, who sat in the heart of the audience, threw a lavender luminous pearl into the air. The pearl cracked and subsequently formed an enormous layer of restriction that enveloped a large area of the drill ground. Only Jian Wushuang and Xia Mang were enveloped in the restriction area. Now you can fight as hard as you can, Emperor Leng said. Jian Wushuang heaved a sigh of relief. He did not want that to hurt the audience again. With Emperor Leng's layer of restriction, he could use his skills without having to worry about the audience. Jian Wushuang, Xia Mang called out in his cold voice. Jian Wushuang looked over at him and their eyes met. In the next second they both disappeared. Bang! No one in the audience saw where Jian Wushuang or Xia Mang had gone. Following the loud roar, they saw a huge sword scar in the center of the drill ground. It was almost 10 meters wide. Before the audience could react, another explosion went off in the void and formed a huge black hole. The residual power was swept around like a tornado. Everything happened too swiftly. Jian Wushuang and Xia Mang moved so quickly that the audience in the drill ground could not see what was happening. They could only hear the violent explosions in the void and see the cracks on the ground. Only the experts in the audience got a clear look at the battle, and what they saw amazed them. They saw Xia Mang sending palm strokes flying in the void without an end, creating a formidable force. Sometimes, it resembled the eruption of a volcano, and other times, like the surge of the magnificent sea or the descent of a meteorite that threatened to destroy the world. Xia Mang unleashed his creation-level Dao at its full strength. This was the real battle strength of a top-rank 1 Dao master. However, Xia Mang's strength surprisingly did not seem to work on Jian Wushuang. In fact, Xia Mang had no advantage at all. The top experts in the audience could see that Jian Wushuang was executing his swordsmanship at full strength too. Each of his movement was unprecedentedly fast. Moreover, his sword contained the destruction aura of the Scarlet Thunderbolt, which boosted the power and speed of his swordsmanship. Jian Wushuang had such amazing swordsmanship. Besides, he was now a gold-armored ancient god who possessed the Star River secret skill and the level 2 divine Yin Thunder. This placed Jian Wushuang in a better situation than Xia Mang. Bang! There was another loud thump. Then a giant portal appeared above the battlefield. This was a black hole formed by the collision of their power. Jian Wushuang and Xia Mang separated again. Xia Mang roared as he glared at Jian Wushuang. Then, his body was soon enveloped in a layer of bloody mist. The bloody mist gathered and condensed behind him, soon forming 5 giant beasts. These 5 beasts were strange and fierce. Not only were they tall, but their arms were thick and strong as well. Xia Mang's eyes had also turned scarlet. That's 5-fingered palm. He has such a secret skill. The top experts in the stand were surprised to see the fierce beasts behind Xia Mang. The 5-fingered palm was a creation of a very powerful top-down master of the eternal world, on par with Emperor Leng and Emperor Shao, a long time ago. It was a secret skill that was ranked in the top 3 of all palm skills. The power of this secret skill could not be underestimated. When Jian Wushuang saw the 5 fierce beasts, he knew that Xia Mang was about to perform his unique skill. He focused his energy on his interspatial ring, sending streaks of flowing lights shooting out of it. The flowing lights were sword shadows. Sword formation condense. Jian Wushuang used his intention to command the numerous sword shadows to combine at an astonishing speed. Soon they formed a lavender sword that was 6 meters long. This sword was also formed out of 36 magic weapons. It was the first step to lay down the 9th heaven sword formation. Though Jian Wushuang had been displaying the first step of the 9th heaven sword formation earlier, the swords of the formation were different. The swords he had previously used in the formation were called Shui Tianluo, while the ones he was using now were the 1-meter swords. Each of them was worth 1 billion divine crystals. There were now 36 of these 1-meter sword, one of which was already much more powerful than an ordinary emperor weapon. Its wielder was none other than Jian Wushuang, who was in the eternal realm. Go! The lavender sword turned into a purple flowing light, carrying the divine Yin Thunder that rushed out so quickly that it seemed like they had never been in the void. Xia Mang snorted coldly. Behind him, the 5 fierce beasts bellowed. 5-fingered palm. Cloud-covering hand. The killing intent surged in Xia Mang's eyes. He made a heavy slam with his right hand. His palm cut through the void without making any sound. In the next moment, a giant palm print emerged from thin air. Then, as if the palm stroke had broken many layers of the space, there was one black hole after another in the void. They all aimed straight for Jian Wushuang. Just then, numerous lavender flowing lights fell down like meteorites and crushed the center of this giant palm. Kaboom! A loud crashing noise reverberated in the air and a large amount of power began to disperse into the surroundings. The center of the giant palm broke open, leading to its collapse. The lavender flowing lights also rebounded from the crash and flew out toward the rear. Is this all you've got, Xia Mang? Jian Wushuang asked coldly. Oh? Xia Mang looked up at him. I'll repeat what I've previously said if this is the extent of your strength. Jian Wushuang's words reverberated through the entire drill ground. You were a joke to me back when you were in the eternal realm. Even now as a Dao master, you're still a joke. Second sword formation, condense. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.